Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Gordon Maston, and welcome to my Lucha Underground review for March the 30th, 2016. And me and the cat here sat through tonight's episode of Lucha Underground, and I felt something for Pentagon Jr. that I never thought I would have to feel for that character before. It was sympathy, cat. It was sympathy. We felt sympathy for Pentagon Jr. Something that certain companies, when it comes to building certain superstars, don't know. And something that Lucha Underground executed very well tonight. And you know what? We'll get into that and more when we start the Lucha Underground review. And I'll let the cat go play. Thanks, cat, for being a part of this. I appreciate you. Alright, guys. Let's get into Lucha Underground. Alright, people, we're reviewing things again. We are reviewing things again, people. Now, let me start out by saying this first of all. I'm surprised the cat let me hold her that long. Cat, you're the real VIP. Okay, you're the real VIP. I said VIP, MVP. I botched my own thing there. I guess I don't know. Secondly, tonight's Lucha Underground, as per usual, incredible. Now, with that being said, let's get into Lucha Underground. Okay. Now, I believe tonight we started out with Dario Cueto. It was basically telling us that he's in charge again. He owns the temple. He runs the temple. And, you know, basically that he is El Jefe. He is the boss, like he proclaimed last week, and like he took his temple back last week. And he said, well, before he could say anything else, we get Pentagon Jr. And Pentagon Jr. basically says the only reason your brother won the Lucha Underground World Championship last week is because I wasn't in Aztec Warfare. Now, there are a couple of rules when it comes to speaking to Pentagon Jr. Speak to the man with respect. For one, Dario. Although, when you kind of have Matanza backing you, that rule kind of goes out the window. Number two, watch what you say to Pentagon Jr. because he may fuck you up. I guess that rule kind of goes out the window too. And number three, Pentagon Jr. will break your arm, but in that case, Pentagon may not get what he wants, and then Matanza may just kill him anyway. So I guess every rule that goes with talking to Pentagon Jr. goes out the window with Dario Cueto because he knows that Pentagon can't really do anything to him that'll have long-term damage or long-term effects, and Dario before probably couldn't get him back. Now, probably a different story. Now, with that being said, Pentagon, Dario basically says maybe you weren't in Aztec Warfare last week because you're not championship material. Now, with that being said, Pentagon gets a bit angry and a bit upset and just, I don't know, throws Dario to the ground and then basically says not championship material. And he's like, I want a match with your brother Matanza tonight. He's like, no. He's denying him this shot. So that as Pentagon gets closer and closer to breaking Dario's arm, Dario slowly realizes, Okay, I realize I'm breaking my arm at the expense of knowing that Matanza's not losing to Pentagon. So he gives Pentagon the shot. Pentagon will be challenging the Monster Matanza tonight in what was the fourth match that Lucha Underground had. And kudos to Lucha Underground for not making Matanza's first title defense go that long. And, actually, we'll get to that when we get to that because there was a lot on tonight's show. All right, starting us off tonight was. Well, after that, basically, we had Johnny Mundo and Taya versus the Crew. Um, well, basically the Crew minus Chavo and Cortez Castro and Mr. Cisco. And I always seem to forget their names, no matter what. It just feels like they don't matter enough to me. Like Lucha Underground does a great job putting characters in situations to win or lose, and like making us care about them. Like tonight, they made me care about another character in particular, but we'll get into that when we get to that. Now, this match with Johnny and Taya, it felt like Mr. Cisco and Cortez Castro had their moments that they would look like they were dominant, but then on the other hand of things, kind of look like they weren't. Now, with that being said, let's. Okay, this is what happens. Uh, Mundo and Taya, um, they controlled everything. From there, Mundo and Taya, we're gonna win the match until we get Cage. After we get Cage, oh boy. We already know they smashed the cinder block over his head last week, and they were kind of more focused on him than they were the match in general. So, with that being said, Mr. Cisco and Cortez Castro took control after Taya was legal. Taya ended up getting, she ended up getting a tag team finisher, and from there, she lost the match. For the team, Mundo wasn't pinned. They protected Mundo, and that was about that. So, your winners, the Crew. Well, I don't know if they're going by the Crew anymore. They're just Cortez Castro and Mr. Cisco. That's pretty much about it. And that's pretty much the story of the match. And with that being said, we move on. Well, we move on, but I have a question here. When in the world? When? When is Cage going to be beaten? Not beaten. Obviously, Cage will be beaten. But my question is, what and how? How do Johnny and Taya plan to stop Cage? Because personally, I just think they're screwed. This is just one machine that they just shouldn't have messed with. I love Johnny Mundo, I love Taya, but here's my question, Johnny. What the fuck are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Stop Cage. You smashed a cinder block over his head. You threw him through a window. You freaking put glass bottles over his head. What are you going to do that's going to keep this man down and out? Because honestly, I think the only thing you can do is just pay Dario to make Matanza kill Cage. That's it. If there's one thing I know can probably, most likely, most definitely do Cage in, it is the Monster Matanza. And who knows, that could be a match we get down the line, and that's actually something I really want to see. Because I want to see the possibilities of what could happen if Cage and Matanza went at it. But basically, we move on from there. Cage didn't do anything to Mundo or Taya, and I'm surprised because normally he's just an angry person who's going to try and kill you. Okay. So with this being said, okay. So this is where I said we got a little more background on the character that I'm starting to appreciate more. and that apparently, from what I've heard, there are big things planned for him. This is Marty the Moth versus not versus. I'm sorry. This is Marty the Moth telling us the story. Hold on, what would I title this? The story of the Moth tribe. Now, Marty said that once upon a time, like, upon the Aztecs, his family had been the most dangerous tribe of all, and there had been those who tried to steal their gold. Not, did I say dangerous? Most, not famous. The richest. They're one of the richest tribes alive among the Aztecs, and the Moths basically people took. Like, if I'm relaying this incorrectly, I apologize. I'm gonna say now. But what I got from this was, and I was never the best at history and paying attention in school, so things like this, they keep my attention, but I may relay them. I understand, but how I relay it to you may not be the best clarification. Is what I'm trying to say. Now, um, the tribes, like Marty's tribe, people took them to be weak because they kept on trying to steal their gold. But there was a Mariposa in every family. I mean, in every generation of the Moth tribe that basically kept the gold safe, kept the family enriched, and kept the tribe together. I guess is what I'm saying. And now, Marty's lucky enough to have a Mariposa in his generation to protect him in a sense, and it is his sister. Now, Mariposa used to basically just beat up those who would try and harm the tribe or try and steal from the tribe or try to destroy the tribe from within. Not from within, because that definitely didn't happen. You know, that's what Mariposa was doing. So, this basically is backstory on Mariposa, and I honestly think this is fucking awesome because I'm not gonna say we needed like backstory on her now, but at least we got it. At least we have something when it comes to this character. Okay, now this is more story and more story progression, and we get we get Dario in his office. Lights flicker, you know what that means, and they flicker back on, and then Katrina's right there. He's like, Katrina, I didn't hear you come in, but that's usually your thing. So, in usual Dario Cueto fashion, he ain't sweating shit. And Katrina tells him, well, he tells Katrina, thank you for running my temple. I appreciate it so much. I even gave your Disciples of Death a rematch at the trios tag titles. And while Katrina said, Katrina she basically didn't care. And he's like, you know what, Katrina, we both have common, like, he basically said, I'm sorry. After Dario, mentioned the trios championships and everything, he said, come on, Katrina, you have no reason to be mad at me. We both have, he basically said we both have common enemies. And Katrina, he asked Katrina to join him. Katrina wanted no part of it, said death will be coming for his brother. Dario retorts to her with, Matanza's not concerned about death. Matanza doesn't care, basically. And said, come on, Katrina, join me. Katrina wasn't having it. I forgot her final piece that she had to say here, but the lights flicker out and Katrina leaves. So she basically, oh, wait, this is what Katrina said. She said, Mil Mortes, I can't remember. But it was basically a message telling Dario that Mil was basically coming for Matanza at some point. It was Mil wants his title back, basically. It was something around those lines, but you guys basically get what I'm aiming at here. At some point here, Mil and Matanza are going to fucking clash, and Mil is going to probably get just anally raped. Because Matanza's not dropping shit to anyone. Katrina. Alright, so next up we get Disciples of Death versus Ivelisse Angelico and Son of Havoc in a trios tag title match, and it's elimination style. Didn't see that one coming. Now, the first one out in this match, eventually ended up coming down to Son of Havoc and I think his name is Dario Negro. No, I don't even think it was him. Well, one of the disciples of death see, I gotta get these names down because I know one is Negro and the other two I don't really know. So I will get those down at some point, and I will feel like the most proudest person on the planet. But um, okay. So the only reason that Evilise was out as early as she was basically because one of the disciples of death came over and kicked her in the head while Katrina had grabbed her. And then I took her out, 1, 2, 3. Evilise is out. Angelico gets in and eliminates one of them with, I can't remember the name of his damn finisher, but it's basically a buckle bomb. But instead of your entire back hitting the turnbuckle, your head bounces off of it. Now, that was incredible. Can I just say, it feels like every time I see Angelico, I fall in love more and more because um, I don't want to spout my own horn too much because I feel like if you're not known and you're practically an amateur and you're not known, you're practically an amateur and all that shit, it's not gonna work out for you. But well, it's not gonna work out for you. But like okay, what I'm trying to say is I have started training in wrestling. Angelico is everything I want to be, and every time I see Angelico, I fall in love more and more and more. Well, not everything I want to be without the technician stuff, but Angelico is a high-flying, striking, just brilliant mastermind in that ring, and I love it. Like, the combination wrestling, everything. Like, Angelico is just like, ah, to me. Like, that's Angelico. It's like my man crush of wrestling. Well, it's Jack Evans, but he's second, and it's funny because they're really in a tag team. But, I'm rambling on here. Angelico gets a pinfall with that move. They eventually take Angelico out. I forget how the fuck they did that. It might have been a double team. No, it was not. But either way, Angelico goes out, and after Angelico goes out, Son of Havoc comes in with the sickest flipping, stomping, fucking. The best way to describe it is amazing, effective, flippy shit. That's the best way to describe it, dude. Amazing, fantastic, flippy shit. And I love Angelico to death. I really do. Okay, so with that being said, Son of Havoc does eventually get the win because Katrina tries distracting Son of Havoc. And Evilise finally gets her hands on Katrina. I say this, but I'm a big Katrina fan, dude. I mean, I whipped the knife for the girl at the start of a review one good time. Let's rehash that. I fucking knifed like she has. Now, I have to say, this is her just desserts coming in. When Evilise came around and just whacked the shit out of her and kicked her and knocked her out, I'm just in there bobbing for like, yeah! I was so hyped. I'm sorry. But Evilise knocks her out. Son of Havoc eventually gets the win. And the Disciples of Death go down at the hands of your trio tag team champions. And Evilise, Son of Havoc, and Angelico retain. Now, honest thoughts on this? As per usual, great shit from the trios champs. I really am. Like, I really feel fucking great for them. Like, they got the titles back. They're on a roll. And, oh, yeah, next week, I forgot to mention this, that Dario mentioned before Pentagon Jr. came at the start of the show. We're going to have another trios tournament to decide who's going to be the number one contenders to take on Evilise, Angelico, and Son of Havoc. And I hope some combination of Jack Evans, PJ Black, and Johnny Mundo, or Jack Evans, PJ Black, and Taya are involved in that damn tournament. Okay, so next up, we get not Rey Mysterio directly. We get Dario saying, "I'm glad you decided to show up to my temple." Da 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 da. And it's Rey Mysterio. He's like, "You're one of the most famous luchadors around." But Rey's like, he's like, "I'm glad you're here I'm glad you're happy to have me, but I want to know about El Dragon Azteca. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, I love it. He's like, El Dragon Azteca is great. He basically says, I don't like. He says, okay, I forgot how he really phrased it, but it kind of know his master. Like, he's not his master. I'm thinking Pentagon. He basically said, okay, you. He's like, I want to know what you did to his not his master, his the guy who trained him, the guy who trained me. And he's like, because from what I know, he came here and he was killed, and I think your brother Matanza had something to do with it. He's like, Matanza had nothing to do with your brother. We had nothing to do with your I'm just gonna say master at this point. Your master dying. Nothing to do with it. He had nothing to do with it at all. He's like, you know what? He basically gets a bottle of liquor out of the liquor cabinet, pours him and Ray a couple of shots, says, you know, let's leave what happened in the past, and toast to a great future, because I would love to have you and El Dragon Azteca fighting for me in the temple. They toast to it, they drink off it, and it's a signed deal in drinking, I guess. Rey Mysterio and El Dragon Azteca Jr. are now fighters in the temple of Lucha Underground. Well, in Dario Cueto's temple, if you want to put it that way. So, up next, we get Mariposa versus Sexy Star. And holy fucking shit, Sexy Star about died in this match. Like, okay, this is a great match. Hey, don't get me wrong. For the little bit of time that got, it served its purpose. Sexy Star got a little bit of offense, and Mariposa got a little bit of offense, but it felt like a squash. Because Sexy Star started running, and I want to know, like, we're working off of this that Sexy Star is who she is, and she's a fighting luchadora. But at the same damn time, I also want to know, like, she's never been scared of anybody. She's never backed down a day in her life. Even when Pentagon Jr. was going to snap her arm, and she knew there was a good chance of that happening, she didn't care if she wanted to fight. But there's something about Mariposa, something that Mariposa did that it just freaks out Sexy Star. Because Sexy Star she's just so thrown off by the presence of Mariposa that it just feels like at some points in time, she slows down during matches, and then she just realizes her fear again and just stares her down and just loses it. But this match finished with a reverse pile driver, I guess I can say, because imagine, okay, so we all know. I've done the hand gesture before. This is the regular version of a pile driver. You slam someone down like that. Now imagine this. This is the backwards version. These are the arms. It's like she grabs the arms, walks with her, and look at these two fingers. Oh, wait, not these two. Yes, these two fingers hanging. She walks with them and just drives her down on her fucking head and just runs with it and just spikes her. Like, my tweet, like the exact tweet I put up there was, holy fucking shit, someone check Sexy Star, she's not breathing. Like, if that's what Mariposa's finishing people off with, holy shit, dude. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Like, if that's what she's finishing people off with, holy shit, dude. Okay. But Mariposa beats Sexy Star, and then Marty basically picks her up, wraps her legs around him, and he spins her like an airplane, just slams her down on a Sexy Star for the emphatic finish to that match. Matt came in to check on them, and they basically stomped out and beat up Mac. So that was about that. I enjoyed it, but I also want to know, where is this Mariposa and Marty thing going? And see, I'd like to be involved in the trios tournament, but I don't know who the hell would team up with that weird ass fucking family. Joey Ryan? I mean, that seems like the only dude weird enough to even team with them. But then again, if you think about his mission not mission really, but his assignment as cop. Whew, excuse me. He kind of doesn't really belong in the trios division, so I don't know where Joey Ryan stands here. But if Marty and Mariposa were to be in the tournament, I guess Joey Ryan is the only one who really fits them. But I don't think they're going to be in the tournament. I just think they're probably going to avoid that one. All right, so now we are in the back, and Dario is giving instruction to Matanza, and he's giving this instruction to Matanza to basically go out there and break Pentagon's back because Pentagon breaks arms and he holds no fear. Now, with him holding no fear, he said after tonight he's gonna have something to fear. So with Matanza getting instruction to break Pentagon's back, yeah. And can I just say too, because I'm just gonna jump into the match because that was next because we get the entrances. Dario is basically doing what Katrina does and accompanying Matanza down the ringside like Katrina did Mill and everyone in his matches. Yeah, everyone in his matches. And I guess now Dario, what's the best way to put this? Dario's basically the same thing as Katrina at this point. He's a valet. Now, Pentagon came out, and Pentagon, they didn't basically, so they started this match with about 8 minutes left in the show. Pentagon basically hit all of his signature offense. He hit the super kick. It didn't really give him the move. Well, not all of it. He hit the super kick. Didn't really give him the move. He hit the backbreaker. It stood and Matanza stood right back up from it. He had him in the corner. He beat him up in the corner. Matanza got right back out of the corner like it didn't even faze him. Now, with these things being said, Matanza didn't really and couldn't really do much. Not Matanza, Pentagon couldn't really do much. So when I got inside the ring, Pentagon was basically getting his back worked on, stomped on, thrown at the barricades and everything. And you see, I love this because we know in Lucha Underground that commentary doesn't see any of the they don't see any of the backstage vignettes. Not vignettes, I'm sorry. They don't see any of the backstage scenes. They don't see any of the cinematic scenes. But yet, the instruction was to break Pentagon's back. And yet, Matt Striker noted off the bat that he's going for his back. Vampiro, concerned as Pentagon's master, noted that he's going after his back. And at some point in the match, because the blows that Matanza was throwing looked like blows that any other person would throw in a match against somebody. But I guess Matanza is so powerful because basically he's held by the strength of a god. Like Matanza is, I guess, basically he holds one of the spirits of the Aztec gods. Like Matanza is one of those people who's the actual Matanza, the human being who's known as Matanza is dead, but the spirit of a god is inside Matanza. So that amplifies the hits that Matanza does tenfold. So with that being said, I'm just gonna, I guess, if we're suspending our disbelief in Lucha Underground, this is totally believable, that with Matanza being a god and beating down on Pentagon's back, it really did, take a toll. And after that, he gets him in the ring to hit the finisher. Well, not to hit the finisher. He powerbombs him through a table, I believe. The powerbomb through the table was first. And then gets Pentagon in the ring, hits him with the finisher. I can't remember the name of the finisher, but it's basically that sweeping side slam that he did last week. At least it looked like a sweeping forward side slam that he did last week. And I know there was a different name to it this week because there was a name to it last week, but that was from its character in AAA, from what I believe. But there was a new name to it this week, and it was entirely different. So with that being said, I'm gonna say, Pentagon, your night was kind of shitty, bud. You got your title match that you demanded, and you just ate loads of shit from Matanza. So yeah, Matanza, don't know who's all stopping you, but whoever does, props to them. Okay. But that wasn't it, as Matanza just beat the shit out of Pentagon some more after the match. Oh, and that's what the powerbomb to the table was. It might have been after the match. Either way, doesn't stop the fact that any other time, even Mil Muertes, when he slams somebody on the table like Phoenix, it didn't break. Matanza slams Pentagon on the announce table. It's destroyed. But when after the match, like Vampiro throughout the entire match had like his commentary was, "Oh, Pentagon's hurt. Pentagon's hurt." And Pentagon, like he was telling the ref in Spanish, "I need help. My back, my back." And it didn't really matter. So Pentagon after that, he was in pain. Vampiro got in the ring, yelled at Matanza, "Someone get some help. Help him," or something like that. And then just got kicked in the face. And afterward, Matanza walks out like a badass. And there's the end of that. Matanza gets the win. Matanza gets the win, walks out, destroys Pentagon. They get the stretcher, and Matanza basically has Pentagon stretchered out. So that's about that. So Dario's orders were fulfilled. It looks like Pentagon has a broken back. We don't know anything yet, but that's what it looks like, and that's how they were selling it. And beautifully done. Beautifully done, Lucha Underground. I bow, I praise, I clap, I congratulate, I thumbs up. I throw an awesome smile to you guys because you did this perfectly. Perfectly. And can I mention this too? Pentagon Jr. looked so sympathetic. They got like it was Pentagon Jr. was never an underdog. He was just a badass who didn't care what it took. He wanted to be champion. We're gonna go and see even with the video packaging, like when Lucha Underground does a great job of showing you who you're gonna get tonight. Like last time on Lucha Underground or this week on Lucha Underground, we'd be seeing Sexy Star, we'd be seeing Angelico, we'd be seeing Son of Havoc. We just didn't know in what capacity. We'd be seeing Pentagon. But what was the one point I wanted to hit on with this? Pentagon. Oh yeah, like I was thinking about Pentagon. He's a badass. Like he's not meant for him to feel sympathetic, and okay, so I'm not gonna say this turned Pentagon face because I don't think Pentagon Jr. will ever be a face the way his character is. Like he just doesn't give a shit who he attacks. Like you basically knew from season 1 on, like, oh, like Pentagon doesn't give a shit. He'll do whatever it takes to become champion. He attacked Mil Muertes before, so I'm not gonna say this turns Pentagon face, but like the crowd. This basically when Pentagon returns in the long run, if he returns, which he probably will, hopefully he'd come back stronger. Just looking at it the way I'd like to look at it. Hopefully he'd come back stronger, but you damn sure better believe that Pentagon's going to come back more beloved by the believers than ever. And you thought Pentagon was beloved whenever he came out, they chanted Cero Miano at him. Oh my God, when he comes back, they're going to receive him like a fucking god. So you know what? I guess that's all I can really say because sadly, for another 7 days, that is the end of this Lucha Underground review. So thank you guys for watching. I just want to know, what did you guys think of this week's Lucha Underground review? Remember to leave a like on this video. Comment and tell me what you thought of it. Comment if you told me I'm a complete idiot. I just want comments all around. Comments. Let me know. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at FightMasterFight. Notice there was no t at the last part of that because Twitter's a jerk and they won't let me get that last T. You know what, Twitter officials, maybe I'll just KO you. That was obviously a joke because I was wearing the shirt. But you know what? I'm rambling on. I'd like to know what you guys thought. Remember to leave a like on this video, subscribe for more of that Lucha Underground goodness on my channel. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it, and see you guys next time. See you. This is taking forever. I want to go. I'm going to go. See you guys later.